The Lowcountry Food Bank believes that cooking matters in our fight to end food insecurity. We bring to you our virtual nutrition education series, Cooking Matters in Our Community.
My name is Danielle Decker. I am the AmeriCorps here at the Lowcountry Food Bank in the nutrition team. Has there ever been a time where you're working in the kitchen and a child comes in and says, "Hey, I want to help with that," but you're not really sure where to begin? You are not alone. So today we're going to make some tuna boats. We're going to talk about ways to include your kids in the kitchen as your assistant chef. We're also going to talk about utilizing what you have on hand so you don't have to go back to the grocery store. We love bringing kids into the kitchen every chance we can, but as a parent, I do understand you might have some reservations over the idea. You could be worried that they might get hurt, or maybe you're worried that they're not going to be interested in the recipe you're making, or you could even just be worried that they're going to do the wrong thing. Those are all valid concerns, and as a parent, I've been there before. It happens. Just remember, we all make mistakes. Like this one time, my teenager was boiling water on the stove. He forgot about the pot and it boiled completely empty. I came home from work just in the nick of time to save my pot from being damaged so badly that I wouldn't be able to use it ever again. Those things happen, and what you just need to remember is they're teachable moments. We can use these situations to talk to our kids about how to make good decisions in the kitchen and how to learn from these mistakes. Interacting with your kids in the kitchen promotes problem solving, literacy, and math skills through rating the recipe, measuring out the items for the recipe, and of course, responding when things don't go as planned. Did you know that kids are more likely to try new foods that they help prepare? Yes, I'm talking to you, even if you don't have a picky eater at home. It promotes lifelong, healthy eating habits for your kids and your family. Also, having kids in the kitchen helps teach them responsibility and safety. We also want them to have fun. We can all use some of that. To get started in the kitchen, we have to set some ground rules. This will help make sure you and your assistant chef are on the same page. We always want to be respectful of ourselves, the tools we are using, and the food we are working with. We want to practice patience and safety. You can always refer back to the ground rules if you feel like anyone, even yourself, are slipping away from these basic rules. The very first thing you always want to do is wash your hands for 20 seconds. This will help prevent the spread of germs. Now, the standard song most people sing is Happy Birthday. But if your kids are in love with Baby Shark, there is a YouTube video out there about washing your hands with Baby Shark. The second thing you always want to do is read through your whole recipe. There's nothing worse than being elbow deep in a recipe and realizing that you need to grab something else. Also, this will help you get prepared for any modifications you may need to do so you can complete the recipe. And remember, this is a video, so hit the pause button as you need to, and then come back to see what you need to do next. Today, I'm going to be using cucumber, a lemon, 2 green onions, canola oil, Dijon mustard, Great Northern beans, salt and pepper, and a can of tuna and water. While we always want to encourage our participants to try new things, we also want to be mindful of your budget. So if you don't have a can of tuna on hand, feel free to swap it out with canned chicken or canned salmon, or maybe leftover chicken if you have it in the fridge. Also, for the beans, any white bean will work here. You don't have to use Great Northern beans. For the mustard, if you don't have Dijon mustard, you can swap it out with a country mustard or maybe a spicy mustard. Try and go with whatever you have. For the lemon, a lot of people don't keep lemon in their house. So if you don't have a lemon, that's okay. Maybe you have lemon juice in your refrigerator. For the green onion, not everybody has green onion. If you have onion powder or a whole onion, swap that out. You don't have to use green onion here. You can totally use a white onion or a yellow onion. I would just dice it really small. If you need to make any substitutions with a cucumber, I would suggest some lettuce or some celery would work really great for a substitution on the cucumber. Like with modifying your ingredients, you can also alter your tools. It is fun to have all of the foods in different tiny little bowls to look pretty, but that's not always realistic. We are all working, whether it's as a stay-at-home parent or working outside of the house. And we don't always have time to wash the bare necessities, let alone the extras from a recipe. I can appreciate that. So I have really tried to limit the dishes. This is a shortened materials list from the recipe. You will need a can opener, a colander, a medium-sized bowl, a cutting board or a cutting mat, depending on what you have, a damp paper towel, a tablespoon, a quarter teaspoon, a small spoon, a vegetable peeler, a butter knife, a pair of scissors, and to mash the beans, you can either use a fork, a measuring cup, or, in my case, a potato masher. I have here a sharp knife. Adults, if you are the ones who are going to be doing the chopping, feel free to use a sharp knife. I'm going to cut everything today using a butter knife.
I get that having kids be your assistant chefs could be a little stressful, especially if this is new territory for you. Here is a list of ways kids can help with this recipe today without all of the worry. We want you and your kids to have fun. Now, if you're feeling a little more adventurous, or if your child is older and you just feel more comfortable with them in the kitchen, here are some other things they can do as your assistant chef. Yay! Since we're all set up and you have an idea of what your assistants can do, let's get started. First, rinse off all of your produce and set it next to your cutting board.
As you can see here, I have a cutting mat and a damp paper towel. You place the damp paper towel underneath your cutting mat, and that keeps your cutting mat or your cutting board from sliding while you are cutting things. Now we can safely start. Peeling can be an excellent task to help your assistant chef with. Holding your cucumber securely, peel away from your body. The recipe says to peel every 1/4 of an inch, but it does not have to be exact. Now we take our peeled cucumber and lay it flat side down so it doesn't really roll. Each one of these is a flat side. To cut the cucumber in half or in thirds, depending on how large your cucumber is, you will want to utilize the claw grip. What you'll do is you will take your sharp knife or your butter knife, depending on what you're working with, you will cut. So utilizing the claw grip helps prevent your fingers from being chapped while still holding the food securely. So now you have it in smaller pieces that are easier to work with. I'm going to take 2 pieces and set them aside. I'm going to take this piece, hold it like a U shape, or your child, depending on who's doing the cutting here. And then on a part that's been peeled, because that's easier to cut, you're just going to push down. Ta-da! And then you're going to do it again. I'm going to chop this very end bit off. If you're having a hard time using that, you're going to do it that way. You will take the small spoon and you will scoop out the seeds. Now we have our boats. Grab your lemon and with a claw grip with one hand and using the butter knife with the other, cut the lemon in half. Now you can squeeze the lemon juice into the medium-sized bowl. You will need approximately 2 tablespoons worth of juice in the bowl when you are finished. Both of you can work together, picking out any runaway seeds that may fall into the bowl. Okay, we have our lemon juice and have discarded our seeds. We are ready to cut our green onions. There are lots of ways you can cut green onion,
But the easiest way, in my opinion, is to use food scissors. Cut all the way down until you run out of the green onion portion. Now set your onion on the cutting board and save the white onion portion for later use in maybe an omelet. Next, let's open and drain the can of tuna. Then, set the can aside. Now, we can open the can of beans, drain them into the colander, and rinse. This removes about 40% of the sodium if you are unable to purchase a low-sodium can. It also reduces the extra starch, which will reduce gas. Put the beans in the medium bowl with the lemon juice. Now here comes the fun part. We get to mash the beans. I don't care how old you are. This is always a fun task. This can be a great job for your assistant chef. Mashing up the beans helps give your mixture a smoother texture. Go for as mashed as possible. You and your assistant can measure out the 1 tablespoon of canola oil, 1 tablespoon of the Dijon mustard, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and add them all to the bean bowl. Now add in the tuna and the green onion and give it a good stir. Using a spoon or a fork, fill your cucumbers with the mixture and enjoy.
I hope you enjoyed making these tasty tuna boats with your kids today. The next time you go to make a recipe and realize you don't have something, I hope you'll get creative with your substitutions. Reflecting about how today went with your kids, what are some other recipes your kids could help you with? Maybe you could set a goal to have them help you more in the kitchen. Maybe they surprised you, showing how responsible and safe they are, and you want to give them more to do next time. Be sure to check out our other videos for more quick tips and fun with your food and family.
For more information and recipes, visit lowcountryfoodbank.org/nutrition. And to learn where our food pantries and feeding partners are, visit lowcountryfoodbank.org and click Find Help.